Here we are on day 21. Oh my goodness, I never thought we would get this far. But I found some information. And before we get started, I'm going to ask you please to hit the like button. Put your touch DNA on your little like button and subscribe, please, because that really helps me. Now, I want you to know before I even get started, the information that I'm about to show you and tell you has been turned over to authorities. You do not have to say, you need to do this, because it's already done. And it's been done since yesterday, maybe even the day before, okay? So you don't worry. And I'm just going to tell you, I feel great. I feel fine. I love life. Don't plan on doing anything about it. So there we are. So now, this is a little serious. I think more than a little serious. So you might need to get a snack or a drink, and we'll wait. Pause it right here. Okay, welcome back. Now, I want to tell you, because many people are asking about my ring. This is an antique smoky quartz. I got this, and while I do not like to wear used jewelry and all this other, I was driving through Sevierville, Tennessee years ago, 10 years ago. Yeah, it was 10 years, maybe even longer. And while I was driving down, and it's a double-sided highway too, and its traffic is crazy. And there was a antique store on the opposite side of the road. And as I drove by, singing tunes to the radio, all of a sudden, this whole urge, and I just felt my car do this, and I looked to the side, and I saw this antique shop, and I knew that I had to go in there. So I made my way around, went in there, and when I did, there was a display case right as you walked in. And this ring was sitting right underneath the light in that display case. I walked up and I said, I have to have that ring. And she said, oh my gosh, that ring has been sitting here for a long time. Did you know we had it? And I said, no, I don't. And I said, do you have a little backstory? She said, it's a part of an estate sale from a lady. And I said, okay, I need it. Just wrap it up, do whatever. And she goes, don't you want to know how much it is? I said, no, I don't care. And I really got it at a great price. She said, well, you need to try it on. And I said, I think it'll fit. She goes, please just try it on. You're being so cryptic, I can't take it. And we were laughing. So she gave it to me, handed it to me across this beautiful, and yeah, I try to keep it clean, across this beautiful case. You can see it. And I put it on. And it fit. Now, sometimes when the weather is a little cooler, it will, my fingers swell and they, don't swell. And when it's, whatever. So it works out well. And when my fingers are a little bit not so swollen, I wear it up a little higher like that, and you can't even tell. So for now, we're here. So that is the story of the ring. But now we're going to get into another story. And I have the book here, but it's not a big bookable today. What I have to show you may be a little sinister. So batten down the hatches, buckle up, buckle in, and get ready, because my darlings, hold on to your potatoes. I think we're going to go for a ride today. And here is the original map for when we started this. And I came in day 3. This was the area that we started with, where Nancy's home was. And we went from there. And we've just kept all kinds of little records. We've gone through one sheet. Now we're working on another, and we're just going to keep on until we find her. But I think today I have some good clues. So let's write this down. Today is February, and thank you so much for all of your beautiful comments about how beautiful my handwriting is. My darlings, my brain goes faster than my hand, and you're going to see that. And there might be some oopsies and some scratches, but hang in there with me. Today is the 21st of 2026, and it is a Saturday. And don't forget to join me tonight for my live at 7 p.m. Eastern. Saturday in the park. Okay. And it, as the making of this, when I started, it was about 2:15, and I'm going to do that. 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do a little numerology here. February is number 2. We have here 2 plus 1 is 3, and then we have here, that's all 10. We have to reduce that, and that is 1 plus 0 equals 1. So we have 5, 6. We're back to the home energy right now. Saturday is 7. 7th day of the week. So now we have 6 plus 7. Okay. What is that? That's an 11. I'm pretty sure it is. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, is it? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13. See, gotcha. So it's 13. I wanted to see how, if you're watching. 13 is 1 plus 3 equals 4. So we have this here. Okay. That is a number 6. This is a number 4. And that equals a number 10. Here we go. And we have to reduce that one more time. And it's a number 1. We're starting at ground zero. We're starting at ground zero here. 2:15, well, we can do that. There's 7, 8. That's 8. We add that on here, and it then becomes a 9. You see, sorry, I might be going a little fast for you guys, but I'm going to put it up there. A 9. A 9 is that part where it's not dead end, it's almost complete. Now, as of today, this morning, they are blocking off some of the roads there right in front of Nancy's house. They were putting markers out this morning as I was watching. I don't think they like the media around there, and they said they want to go door to door, and there's some other things that are going on. Okay. All right. Yesterday, Annie's house was yesterday. And they came out with bags. I'm just going to put bags. One was a trash bag. One was looked like a food bag. It did not look like an evidence bag. They keep rolling around to Annie and Tommaso's house. I have a theory on that. Now, since we've got all this done, I want to show you another little something that I've done. Here we go. Here we go, my darlings. I'll put this here. Today is the 21st. Here we are with more numerology. The forensic numerology of 21 is the number of the world, success, and completion. You see how this all kind of, numbers don't lie. Energy doesn't lie. It represents the end of a difficult cycle, as the day of February 21st, which was yesterday, had the movement of the sun. Today is number 20, which is Judgment Day. And finally into the world, day 21. Yesterday was, not today, sorry. Yesterday, and now today is the world day. The connection that I've got between Tucson, Arizona and Grand Junction, Colorado. Now I'm going to tell you, I've got a little something I'm going to talk to you about. We're going to leave this here just for a minute. Now we're going to open this book because this may just blow your mind because I've been working on it for 2 days and it kind of sort of blew mine. But this is something I have to share with you because if I shared it already with the powers that be, I may as well share it with you. And I'll try to write close enough because I'm going to write this down. This is a lot of information. So this is February 21st. Yes, I had to look for a minute. 2026, and it is a Saturday. Now, I want to talk to you about, this is for Nancy Guthrie. Because there's some chilling things that are going to be told here. And I'm going to ask you, please, not to mention full names, because if you do, the comments are held and I don't get to see them. Because the filters are high, because I don't want anything to happen to this channel. So we're going to just be our cryptic little selves. And for all of you who want to be Zeldanators, thank you so much. You're part of the tech forensic team as far as I'm concerned. So just put initials. And the same thing, if you come into the live tonight, don't mention those things, because your message will either be deleted or, and do I expect trolls? Yes. And do I expect the comments to go quickly? Yes. I'll try to slow them down so I can read them, but we're going to be talking. We're going to be talking. All right. So here we are, my darlings. This is right now pre-abduction. See, my mind is going fast already. Abduction. Now, I looked a little further under Google Trends, and that's how you find searches, under Google Trends. Believe me, my name has been searched. Mr., my Mr.'s name has been searched. And it makes a little chilling that you can feel that people can search you out. Just, if nothing more, out of curiosity, but this was not curiosity in my opinion. And by the way, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. This is just my opinion based on what I'm just skirting around the internet looking for. Gotcha? Got me? If you know, you know. All right. So now, there were some Google searches here. And the Google searches was an address search for Nancy. And those address searches happened January 5th of 2026 and January 17th of 2026. Now, image searches. What type of images? Zelda, what? Well, pictures of what Nancy looked like, pictures of her home, pictures of the surrounding area, pictures of the neighborhood. You can do that. The image searches started December the 19th of 2025, went into January 1st of 2025, and then January 23rd of I'm sorry, I said 25 here. It is 26 of 2026. So this is a 6 right here. 6 weeks. 6 weeks of repeated searches. And this is all before Nancy became missing. I interpret this as possible, maybe sort of, kind of, possible planning and surveillance. Surveil, I'm just going to put surveil there. Behavior. If this doesn't give you the chills, I don't know what. Yesterday, I didn't finish this until last night after the video, but yesterday when I said this is premeditated, yes. Pre-planned, yes. Oh, there's something more behind it. Watch and see. Because now, up here, these Google Trends came back to, I don't know, Western Colorado. But let's go one step further. We're going to go on the other side of the financial part now. Let's talk about financials. We're going to start on this page. Financials. Can we spell today? Yes, we can if we try. All right. The financial connections to the epi. And that's not Gilligan. No. No Gilligan's Island, but it's the epi. There were financial connections tied to this right up here. Now, some of you may say, oh, no, he's unalived. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's move on. Subpoenaed records. These have been records that have been subpoenaed that are surfaced. And that's part of the files, okay? Records allegedly, supposedly mention checks payable. Checks payable to where? Wells Fargo, Grand Junction. And that's Colorado. There were email exchanges referencing emails. I'm going to tie this in. Hold on. Don't want to bore you. Hang in there. You're going to find this pretty interesting. Email exchanges referenced this showing interest in travel to where? Grand Junction. Now, this raises questions for me. Why? Well, what are the historic connections in that area for this organization? And yes, that's what it is. This right here, yes, that's what it is. I'm going to tell you. What are the connections? Well, let me just tell you this. In 200, yes, or let's just say 2019, there were some call letters there. And it could have been, I don't know, let's call it the Tomorrow Show. You know. So in this Tomorrow Show, a young lady, oh, you know what? I used to live in Virginia. I like that state. I'm going to mark that down. Publicly accused that person. And there's a reason I'm bringing this out. Who? Prince Andrew. And guess who was arrested yesterday? Happy birthday, Prince. May you enjoy your new silver bracelets, but he's been released. He won't get out of this unless the king steps in. That's another thing. If he mentions that the king is involved, you see, the king of England cannot be involved or cannot be held responsible for anything illegal. So if former prince, let me just say that, former prince says, hey, my bro here, the king and his dominion, they were involved because you see the former prince brought some of these, I'm going to say friends, back to some of these castles. That ties them in. And if they have to tie in the king, well, former prince may walk. And this may be why they're stacking charges, you see, because little Zelda, that turnip truck on the farm didn't back over my head. I didn't fall off of a manure truck. I dig a little deeper. That's why charges are always stacked, because you don't want a perp walking. And he could just walk on this one thing. However, there were some other things that they're stacking, like giving away state secrets and that sort of thing. That's going to be kind of hard. So that's why they don't want him walking, but they released him yesterday. And if you look up that picture, Woofy, does he look like his papa, when his papa was ill before you took a ticket to the paradise, well, he's looking pretty upset and pretty pale. Oh, well, there's called being held responsible. So that's why I'm bring this out, okay? Because on the Tomorrow Show, you know what it is, and please don't put it in the comments. Okay, the Tomorrow Show, you know, there was a place that I went a long time ago. It was in Georgia. Oh, it was Tybee Island. Yes, Tybee. Wait, where is Tybee Island? Where is that close to? Oh, yes, the town of Savannah. So the interview was conducted in this place right here. You know what I mean. Then that person was given her ticket to paradise. Now, it was reported that this was a self-deletion. I don't really see that, don't believe that, made statements contrary to that, but okay. So now, my question is this. This is public exposure between the two. Because this person with this show took it upon herself. And you know what? I mean, I think it was in the best spirit of everything. But on that show, that person made that accusation. And whether the connection between the public exposure and the later consequences and events could definitely exist. Now, here's the thing. Here's where it gets really interesting. Okay. Give me a second. I got some notes here. I want to make sure that I'm oh, nice. Okay. So I want to go back to here. Let's go back to square one. Right here, the Google Trends. Data shows a 100% spike. 100% spike in the phrase Nancy Guthrie's address. Prior to January 31st. All the images, all the searches. Now, here's the rub, my darling. I got to come over here because I'm too much over here. So let's do this. I want to show you the searches for Nancy, her address, the images, her pictures, her photos, the photos of her home, etc., etc. The searches did not originate from Tucson, Mexico, nor Arizona. Now, there was one search in Tucson, January 11th. I'm talking about the searches associated with this activity did not. Now, there was one search January 11th from Tucson. Where did these searches where did they come from? Where were they traced to? Grand Junction, Colorado. They were traced to Grand Junction, Colorado. Now, there were checks that were written from Wells Fargo Bank to Wells Fargo to Epi, right around that timeline. For me, in my opinion, this indicates that somebody in Grand Junction was actively searching Nancy before she became missing. So let's talk about this for a minute. New section. We have a ransom letter. See, the writing gets worse as we go. If I could just sit here and say, but I want to write this out so you can, and you know why I write in blue ink? I'm just going to tell you this. Because blue ink makes you retain information a very high percentage, more than if you write in black or red or green or any of those beautiful colors that we all like to write in. Blue transmits to your brain and helps you to remember. That's why I write in blue ink. Now let's talk about this ransom letter. Here's the timeline. And yes, I'm comfy today with an old sweatshirt. You may as well be too. Tonight I'll look better, I promise. February 6th. Okay? TMZ, Harvey Levitt, reported receiving a ransom letter. Harvey baby. Now, the other day, I did what would the letter markers be. We have an M and we have a Z here. And anytime we get anything, I never, one thing about being a tarot profiler and one thing that I have learned from those who have taught me, who have moved on, I'm just going to say, back in the day when I was really helping forensically, timelines, tarot, pendulum, rods, cards, you name it, I never held it into a nucleus. You always want to be like those cards in the tarot that I say, look at this. You see the wings? You see the swords going off the frame of the card? It expands and it makes it much larger. And you never discount these letters. And you never say, well, you know, that's just supposed to be for the perp. So you see we have an H here, and we have an M, and we have a Z. So now that ties everything in. Harvey Levin. Now I'm not accusing Harvey of anything. Don't say that. He's just part of the plan here. He's just a part of it. Just like this city over here, just a part of it. Okay? There's an M and a Z and an H here. So the letter stated they needed payment. Nancy, here's a key. Nancy would be returned in 12 hours. Keep that in mind. Now I'm going to tell you something a little bit. Here we come. It wouldn't be me if I didn't have another visual. Come on now. You know this. We got all this we've done today. And this right here is all about Grand Junction and the corridors and everything else. We may have to go through that tonight, or maybe even at a later date. But I've got something I want to show you, because this is really good. And I'm going to do this and mark this Feb 21, 2026. Part of the Zeldan. Now, first of all, this is the map where the numerology put, this is Nancy's home, and it put us down to here. Remember that. A water reference, trees, and everything else. That's where the pendulum took us. That's where her energy supposedly, allegedly is. But let's expand this. I submit to you, my darlings, this is a map from down here at Tucson, Arizona. I'm going to write down here Tucson, AZ, okay? And that will be Nancy with an N, not an M there, sister. All right. So here we go. I have marked out several corridors. This is a straight shot from Tucson to Grand Junction, Colorado. Here is the windy road. There's a couple of corridors here. This is a 10-hour and 46-minute ride. Okay? By flight, this is a 3-hour and 25-minute, but I'm positive they did not. But check this out, my darlings. This route right here, 12 hours and 11 minutes. Now, this straight shot right here, based on the timeline that Nancy went missing that morning of February 1st, most likely they would have gotten started out approximately 3 a.m. They had a head start. So, here's the rub. If this takes approximately 9 to 9.5 hours, okay? I submit to you the ransom note saying 12 hours. Now, was that person in Colorado held responsible for it? Yes, I know what you're saying, but Zelda. You don't, when it comes to an organization like this, you never, ever rule out anyone, because promises of payment become very real. And you would be very surprised of what people would do for a little bit of something, and perhaps to throw off the authorities. So I'm not talking about the ransom letter and the person who, because I do not believe that the people that sent in this because it was bogus and we have another man. I'm looking at timelines. Let's just think about Nancy being returned in 12 hours. We have all these searches going on stemming from Grand Junction. Now, Zelda, what about the search coming from Tucson, January 11th? Well, like I said, I still believe 3 people are involved. I still believe that money talks and you know what walks. Someone who knew her schedule, because it's going to take more than an internet search to figure out what's going on. Do I believe someone cruised by her house? Oh, yes, I do. Do I believe that perhaps when she was not home, someone maybe scoped out the Nest cameras and so forth on the outside? Uh-huh. Do I believe that Nancy walked into a problem? Yes, because the back door was open and there were stuff going on. Now, here's another little thing, and I'm going to take a time out, and I don't like this. So I'm going to mention it. When you go into the evidence portal of the sheriff's county, and sometimes some of that information is public, you can see where this adult protective service person made a report, but it was January 31st of 2026 at approximately 5. And then they went in and they changed the time, maybe to 6 or 7. And then the second, go back and look, in the second newscast of the Pima County Sheriff, Christopher Nanos, he said, we went over there Saturday night. It's there. We went over there Saturday night. Saturday night was January 31st. Let's get back to this. All right. So the travel comparisons are the Grand Junction, Tucson Drive, 9 hours. Let's just say maybe 10 and a half. You got to stop. You got to potty. You got to get some gas. You got to drink. You got to do this. You got to do that. Fuel stops, blah, blah, blah. Travel, 11 and a half to 12 hours. This suggests the timelines that may have been calculated rather than just random. Because if she were local, and I do believe she still is local right now, if she were local, then they wouldn't say 12 hours. And the one thing is, they can't get a proof of life. But was this considered a distraction? Yes, I do believe that. Because do I believe that they had Nancy? Yes. Do I believe that they brought Nancy back into the area? Yes. Because sometimes the heat gets on. And you know who really was the target? Why would you do this? Because it causes emotional harm. It causes emotional upheaval. How dare you do that and interview this person? And I think there was one more, but especially for this person who pointed the finger and said, these people did it. They did this and they did this to me and this and this and this. If it were me, and this is what I have said, I would be checking every traffic cam. I would be checking every city cam, every place from Moab down here through, you've got it. Because see, here you go. For those of you who are, this is Flagstaff right here. And that's Arizona, okay? This is Arizona's right here. I'm going to mark this out so you all can see. This is Utah. And this right up here is Colorado. I'm going to tell you a little something about Colorado. And over here is New Mexico. We're not worried about that. But here's a little something about this area of Colorado. They have the Colorado River. There's some very treacherous terrain. I would be looking at Phoenix, Flagstaff, Cameron. I would be looking in Utah at Bluff, White Mesa, Blanding, Monticello, and Moab. Because would they take this? I don't think so, but they still could make it in 12 hours going this way. Now, the one thing about this, there are Walmarts in Grand Junction up here. I believe there's 3. You can check for backpacks. And who would have that ski mask available? Well, maybe not in Tucson, but up here where there's skiing available. You see what I mean? So there's a lot. The focus areas that I would focus on, because there are many highway access points, there are remote drop locations, there are bridges, and there's an emphasis on family closure regarding the outcome. "12 hours gave it away." And when you're thinking about people who will do this sort of thing, they are sinister and they are evil. And they will do whatever it takes to hurt anyone that brought this to light. What I have found here frames as an investigative lead is all. Again, this has been shared with the powers that be. Somebody out there somewhere has emphasis to where Nancy is and who these people are. Someone knows something. And the goal remains for justice and for answers whomever took Nancy Guthrie and for her family for this closure. Do I believe that other family members could be involved? Listen, stranger things have happened at sea. Do I still believe that there is a connection right down here and a connection to water and a connection? Absolutely, because the pendulum takes us to this area. Absolutely. There's an energy for Nancy there. The 31st of January disappearance, and I'm going to say it that way, because that's really when the clock started ticking. Why? Because Nancy came home the late night hour of the 31st. 9:48 p.m. She walked into the garage. 9:50, her garage door closed. What horror did she face between the hours of 10 p.m. and 3 a.m.? The sheriff, when he went in there, took his homicide team with him. When I peeked in the scene yesterday or the day before through meditation, it was not pretty. These people, if it is them, I'm not accusing anybody of anything now, but they are here to punish. The other thing that I want to say is this. This all happened the night before Savannah Guthrie was supposed to fly out to Italy for the Olympics. And she had to cancel her trip. And that person who got to go, by the way, was just squealing with delight. And I understand he was happy to go, but not under those circumstances. I will predict that after this, Savannah may retire. There's a lesson in this, because I'm going to tell you something. This is not your typical standard abduction. And this is definitely, well, I'm going to say probably, maybe, allegedly, sort of, kind of, possibly a psychological targeting and a retaliation. I'll see you tonight.